Once the bar is located in its proper place with the slugs, everything is tightened down. It's time to install the dams and the mold and the lock rings to hold everything in place. These are installed on the bar, the lock rings tighten to hold everything in place. Then the risers are installed on either side. These risers are used to allow the babbitt to rise up above the edge of the block so that when you pour it, as it cools, it fills the voids. At this point, it's necessary to heat the block. I usually heat to a temperature of about 300 to 350 degrees. The purpose of this is twofold. One is to drive all of the moisture out of the block to prevent any kind of vaporization when you pour the hot babbitt in, and the other is to keep the babbitt from freezing as you pour it so that you don't have any voids. To prepare the babbitt, you use a torch to heat it, and I use the paint stick to stir the babbitt with. Proper temperature is when it chars the stick without bursting it into flame. I use the stick also to remove any dross from the top of the babbitt. If you do hold the stick in too long, even at the correct temperature, it will burst into flame. But stir the stick in it, and you will actually feel a slight vibration of the babbitt when it's at the right temperature. When you're ready to pour, the pour should be made from one side of the bearing only, pouring down into the void between the risers and the bearing mold. That allows the babbitt to flow down on one side, push the air all out from the void, and rise up on the other side. Once everything is cooled, you can remove the lock rings so that you can withdraw the bar from the block. Then the dams and the molds can be removed from the block to reveal the poured bearings. They may be tight coming out because as it cools, the babbitt shrinks back around and grabs the dams, but they will come out. Just take your time and get them out slowly. Once that's done, it exposes all three of the poured main bearings. Here you can see the thickness of the bearing in the block and the slight rise of the babbitt above the edge of the block. The center main, you can actually see the wooden plug that we put in the oil hole that will help us locate it. And on the rear main, you can see the thickness of the thrust surface that was caused by the recesses in the dam that we use for the rear main.